Good morning. It's Monday, September 12th, 2022. The song in my head is Prince Charming by Adam and the Ants, which I heard on the radio yesterday, satellite radio, because radio. Anyway, let's find out what the postcard of the day is from the Modern Women collection. That is Rinika Dykstra, Odessa, Ukraine, August 4th, 1993. Chromogenic color print. So that is a photo and not a stylized painting. Ukraine's really in the news right now with the big push they just made in the north, but I won't get into that. What I'll get into, since this is the prattling part, and you can tune out now, I had a in-person podcast yesterday at the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and it went well, but it's a lot of driving. And I used to do this every weekend. I would go into the city or go upstate or down to Princeton or wherever to sit down and record with people, all in the before time. With the pandemic, I started doing podcasts remotely, and I did one of those on Saturday. And just hit me. I don't have as much energy as I used to, or I'm not as accustomed to doing that stuff. And the bigger picture thing that struck me was I'm in the middle, as I've mentioned in recent posts, of this incredible amount of work, some business travel. I'm flying out to Michigan tomorrow, all culminating in my own conference in October, but there's other conferences I need to prepare for, speak, moderate, blah, 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 attend, schmooze, organize webinars, and all this other stuff. And it hit me that is what I used to do before the pandemic hit. This isn't a really crazy work flux the way time used to work, and that the last 2.5 years have been the aberration. I mean, I've progressed or regressed or deteriorated or whatever, but the world that I had is sort of a fantasy, I guess. One where a lot of the things that took up my time before this were gone, and I was able to start with the drawing and painting and the working out and all the other stuff. And I need to, I guess, prioritize or figure out what can still fit in while making sure, number one, work, number two, podcast, the things that are most necessary for my life and my mental well-being, stay in place. Even something like this, adding this year, it's only about 10, 12 minutes a day, but it's the video, writing the postcard, sending, all that stuff. It's all time that I had that in this particular crunch I don't have. And again, after that, things will ease up after mid-October, unless I go to a conference in Frankfurt in November, but we'll see about that. But yeah, the other thing was Saturday, I forgot to tell you, after finishing the podcast that I was doing remotely, Amy and I went down to Frenchtown, New Jersey to see an art exhibition by Susan Bluebow, who is the wife of Joe Ciardello, an illustrator for The New Yorker and one of my past guests. And it was great. We had a good time, got to see Susan briefly, talked to Joe for a bit, got some dinner, walked around town, really nice artsy place, went to the Frenchtown bookshop. But it was the thing where I realized that not just meeting Joe through the podcast, but discovering Frenchtown, which I only did because of another podcast a while before that, when I had to drive through to Pennsylvania to Bucks County to record with David Leopold, that so many things in my life have come to me through doing the show. Just discovering Frenchtown and making friends with people like Joe and Susan, and all the webs of connections at places and people that, left to my own devices, probably would never have come across. I probably would have just stayed at home, read, watched TV, etc. So yeah, it's just, I guess, not reevaluating life, but looking at especially pandemic life and where I am now, and assessing and reassessing and doing that general neurotic thing that I do. Anyway, I prattled on long enough. Some would say too long. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.